Good morning, we're live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Happy Thursday. I'm going to just do a quick one this morning. We've been focusing all week on clients with orthopedic conditions. And I mean, these are really common conditions that you see, that people come to class every day probably and say to you, Rachel, I've got frozen shoulder, tennis elbow, arthritic knees, arthritic hips, non-specific kind of back pain comes and goes. Maybe I've had a knee replacement, a hip replacement, really common, really all common things. So I'm putting together some tips and exercises and strategies to help you. Good morning. What would you say? I think I asked this yesterday. What would you say is the most common orthopedic condition that people come with? Is it knees? Is it ankles? Let me know, and we'll put just a few back exercises. I'm not going to do anything on the floor this morning. Yesterday we did those 3 big flexibility moves. Did you do them? Did you try them out in class? Good morning. Maybe you've got a bit of a back problemo. Let's have a look. Where are we? Does that sound okay? It doesn't sound too bad this morning, does it? Sciatica, so common, so common. So let's just think about, rather than going down on the floor, which of course you can, and do all your usual more localized back work. So if you if somebody is quite round shouldered and you wanted to work the back of the body, you could get somebody lying down and doing your squares, a little bit of weight potentially, and getting some scapular retraction. But from a standing standpoint, if we think about all the movements that the spine can do in a standing position. So if we just hold the lower body first, just start off with simple rotations. Again, just holding the pelvis still there. And if that's a struggle to hold the pelvis still, you could bring the heels together and just increase that range of motion. So starting off with a short range. Again, I'm just moving through some different exercises quite quickly together. If that feels okay, you could add a spine twist. And think when sometimes we feel a bit of a tweak in the back, it's often when we're rotating, when we're twisting, we're picking something up, we're gardening. So training rotation is important. Bring the fingers again. I'll go short range. So let's do another 2. That could be one movement. And then if we go back, take the legs wide and then move it into lateral flexion. Morning, Mel. Have you recovered from Guildford? So there's your lateral flexion. So again, try and just vary it a little bit. So you might start with feet in a neutral position. You could develop and change it, bring the feet together, makes it a little bit more challenging. 2 more lateral flexions and keeping the range short. Then put those 2 moves together. So rotation and then lateral flexion. And again, rotation, lateral flexion. See how that feels, how the client. There you go, and just focus on that. I'll do one more and then I'll add in and then rotation. Okay, so you could then add a lateral reach and then up in the middle. So again, using a little bit more weight in your lateral flexion there. I'll do one more, all for the back, and then take both arms out and then again, full range rotation. So good movements to always add in all your classes. Again, with non-specific back pain, working through. If it's painful, of course, that's not correct. Need to stop. But again, building in mobility. Next thing, a little bit more sort of functional training. So if we think about moving the pelvis and just taking a step forward and you think, oh, Rachel, is that working my back? I'll show you. So this would be your next level. Rather than keeping the lower body still, the same movements that we just did, we can now add a step forward. So if we bring your fingers to your temples again, so your move would be that step forward and rotate. Now I'm moving through this a little bit quick, so you could do that a lot slower. So again, that's building up strength. You've got that rotational movement, transverse plane. Good. And again, you're going to be off balance. It's not it's possibly not going to be, really symmetrical and a perfect. It's the movement that we're training. So that's one. Next one, add the step, and then you've got that lateral flexion. That's hard. There you go. These are, again, working through your back in a more functional capacity. Good, one more. Okay. Now, second one, take the leg to the side. So now you've got frontal plane. Good morning, everyone. There you go. And then apply the same movement patterns that we just did. So bring your fingertips to your temples as you laterally lunge, add a rotation. And again, step, rotate, bring it back. And again, rotate, bring it back. Do this again gently, just giving you some ideas here. Rotate, one more. And then here's your lateral flexion. Over to the side again, small. That's it, over. And last one. Good, and release. Now, third one, this time taking the leg, you can either do just a step back, or if your client's okay with the knees, you could take a deeper lunge, but again, just a step back is what we're after. And again, we've got that same pattern, so we have that rotation there. You can bend both knees, that's it. And then add your lateral, there you go, your lateral flexion. It's a little bit different. Good, one more, step back. And then, last one, just take that little curtsy. So your femur, then a little bit of rotation there through the pelvis, arm at the center. And again, there you go, add your rotation. So with these are working all your core, your back, your core. We've got mobility and strength there. And then you could add your lateral flexion here, over the top. There we go, over. And release. So be aware of your forward flexion. Obviously it's loaded. If someone is struggling with, lower back pain, forward flexion, that's a lot of load coming forward. So maybe focus on building strength in the other two planes. So in your frontal plane and your transverse plane with the exercises that we've just done. Often if someone is struggling with back pain, they may be okay moving laterally, but it's forward flexion or extension that they really feel it in. So work with the two planes that you can. Good morning. So give little ideas, just some functional ideas for strengthening. Of course you can do all your basics, which I said at the beginning, but you've seen me do all these before. So this type of work, again, you could do some extension work. If there's not, often if there is a lot of pain in the lower back, when you move into spinal extension, that could make it worse. So, which is why my preference would be starting standing. Of course, make sure you've got your flexibility in, your stretching, and stretch in 3 planes, so not just up and down, side to side, and mobility, circle the hips around. So just a few different ideas. Got your thread, your needle, do your thoracic as well. So just a few different ideas to approach it in a different way, especially if people are struggling to get down on the floor. Hope that helps. Good work. All right, gang. Just a quick one this morning. Let me know if it's been helpful this week, the ideas that I've shared with you. I'd love to know. Put a comment in. Kelly is with you today. We've got, glad you liked it. We've got the Fitness Pilates with Weights course today. So you don't have to be Fitness Pilates trained as long as you're Pilates trained and you want all the lesson plans and how you can progress a Fitness Pilates with Weights course. Now that could be something that you offer in September. You could do a 6 weeks or 8 week course. Kelly's going to do that today. If you want to get the details, put a comment in and I'll set you up with the link. She's written all the lesson plans. It's going to be a busy one. It's a really popular one with the weights and just light weights. So 1 to 2 kilo hand weights is what we're working with today in that workshop. Fab. Okay. I will see you all shortly. Thanks for tuning in. Hope that was helpful.